Someone bought Lord of the Rings. Dog. What up, viewers? What up? Calc Soups here, and today is Friday, August 19th, and that means it's time for a quick recap of the week in video game news. Starting off, we got a sequel that is being worked on. It has been 7 years since Helldivers took the world by storm back in 2015. It was well received. It had a mid-80s Metacritic, and yeah, I just remember 2015 kind of really took over. This game just kind of popped up out of nowhere. I think it was cheaper than your typical game, and everybody kind of was jumping on and playing with. I think people are still looking for PlayStation games to play on the new PlayStation 4. So yeah, it really took the world by storm. I remember just everyone I talked to at the time was playing Helldivers for probably about a month. So until it got a little bit difficult, the game was really hard. But in a pretty teaserific kind of video this week, we saw Helldivers 2. So the company Arrowhead Studios, I think, kind of teased it pretty heavily. So not an official announce, just a tease, but hopefully this means that they're working on Helldivers 2 and we can get it sometime soon. So I'm looking forward to that because it really took the world by storm, at least in my circle of friends. So really looking to picking that up. Well, with just a teaser, it's going to be a while, but I'm really looking forward to it already. Moving right along, we've talked about MultiVersus for the last 2 weeks, so might as well continue to talk about MultiVersus. I believe last week I talked about there being a tease for Season 1, and Season 1 has officially started. The characters being added in Season 1 are Black Adam and Stripe from Gremlins. Right, from Gremlins, so the stripey one from Gremlins. I know that someone at WB is really happy for introducing Gremlins back into the zeitgeist. At least amongst gamers, so pretty exciting to see that. Also, it kind of reminds me that they're really mixing up like character sizes, especially with the Iron Giant, and now I assume the Gremlin's going to be pretty small and wily. So yeah, I kind of like what they're doing with mixing up sizes as opposed to Smash Bros, where every character is kind of stock standard in size. I know that like Kirby is smaller than Link or some of the other Sword Boys, but yeah, I think I like the kind of size. I definitely can imagine seeing associated with the movie. I can definitely see a Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson skin for Black Adam. So the writing is definitely on the wall for that one. But yeah, if you're already playing Season 1, let me know who your MultiVersus main is and what you're looking forward to in this season, and potentially any characters that you can imagine seeing in MultiVersus. I know I have my speculation. There's a new Soulsborne that dropped this week called Thymesia. It's Thymesia. I watched the Before You Buy on it. It gave me a pretty good gist of what it is. It leans more towards the Bloodborne side of things than the Dark Souls side of things, because characters, I guess, in the game have 2 health bars. One that will like show how much damage they've taken, and then another health bar below that where they will slowly regenerate that health back. So you have to use a combination of like regular attacks and plague attacks, I think was the other thing, and then that'll slowly kill the characters. But very much on the, you gotta keep them, kind of whittle them down constantly, kind of going in and diving in. It's set in like a plague city. The character he was even wearing like a bird plague doctor mask. And named Corvus, so they're definitely kind of going all in on the Plague Doctor theme. So yeah, it looked like a pretty cool Soulsborne. I still haven't made it through Elden Ring, so I don't know that I'll have time for this one. But if you're looking for another Soulsborne, I feel like you might enjoy Thymesia. So check that out on the link down below in the description. For those of you who don't remember what happened in God of War, it has been 4 years since we played God of War, a little bit over 4 years now. So Sony was nice enough to put out a kind of well-produced recap. It's got Felicia Day on a cold winter night reading you the story of what happened in God of War. It's got little fun giggles, and it has like a really cool, well-written poem, just kind of reciting off what is happening in or what happened in God of War, so that we know where we left off for God of War Ragnarok. Pretty good refresher, pretty well produced, so I enjoyed it. I'll have a link down below in the description. Like I said, at the cold open, the big bomb this week was Embracer. They bought Limited Run Games, Tripwire Interactive Limited Run Games. I forget what the titles they are. Tripwire Interactive is the company behind Killing Floor. And then a little known thing called The Lord of the Rings. Yeah, so there was a big bomb dropped in the middle of the week with Embracer. There was also a couple games announced. Private Division and 2K are making a Lord of the Rings game. And so what Embracer actually bought, Embracer, the parent company behind Saber Interactive and Gearbox, the investment firm that owns, Swedish investment firm that owns Gearbox and Saber Interactive and a couple others, Nordic, THQ Nordic, they purchased Lord of the Rings. So what they don't own the book rights, and they don't own like the IP. They just own the ability to make all the games and all the movies and all of the. So they bought the company that produces Lord of the Rings content, but they didn't buy. They did not buy like the Lord of the Rings itself. They don't own Tolkien and his estate. But yeah, so I assume that the Rings of Power money is going to go to Embracer. I assume that this new Take-Two game money will also go to Embracer. So there is definitely a lot in the works that they, the Golem game, the recently delayed Golem game, I think will also some of the money will go to Embracer. So I'm just excited. It seems like they're in good hands. You don't buy it unless you're going to do something with it. So I'm looking forward to more Lord of the Rings content. One of my favorite IPs ever. So yeah, definitely a big purchase. I think they talked about the IP. What did they talk about? They listed how much they bought, how much they bought it for, and it was like 770. And I don't know if that was just for Saul's Ants, the Saul's Ants company. And I know it didn't include 770 million. I don't know if it included Middle Earth Enterprises, which is a whole different thing that they now own, but it's a different entity, which you probably pay a different amount of money for. We know that Apple paid over $1 billion for it, so I don't think this went to them for anything less than $1 billion. So yeah, there's quite a big investment, but it's one of the biggest and hottest IPs right now, so I'm looking forward to it. And Rings of Power coming at the end of the month. But yeah, if you want to read more about that, I'll have a link down below in the description. Moving right along, we've got Sony has so many PC games that they're working on a PC game launcher. So for all those console war fans that feel lied to about Sony saying that their games would only ever be exclusive to PlayStation, which was always a false promise, they'll now have people come out and play the Sony games on their own browser, on their own game launcher. I do kind of hate having a lot of different game launchers on my PC, especially when I log into Steam and then have to log into Larian to get into Divinity 2, which I am playing right now. PC game launcher proliferation is a problem, and I wish it was fixed. And Sony's got to figure out their own solutions so they can promote games on their own platform on PC. So yeah, looking forward to checking that out, I guess, eventually. But I'll only ever play PlayStation games on my PlayStation, so not too much for me to worry about there. The Sega Mini 2, the second Sega Mini, got announced this week, and it's already up and available for pre-orders. So feel free to pause. Well, actually, don't pause this, but after this video, go and pre-order it because it's already available for pre-orders. It's got all the typical games that you would expect. The first one had all the Sonic games. This one's coming out with a different set of games, but they're looking for more Sega, more of those mini. I haven't heard about like mini platforms in quite some time. I think we're still kind of waiting for a Nintendo 64 Mini. But yeah, the Sega Mini 2 is available for pre-order. So after this video, go run and grab that. If you're a secondary market buyer, I bet you've already purchased it. But for the rest of us who actually want it, we can go purchase it right after this. Tiffany and Company, the jewelry company, is getting into gaming. Who would have thunk it? Actually, it's pretty it's pretty tangentially related to gaming, but they are making the trophy for the League of Legends World Championship. So there'll be real crystals and a really expensive trophy made by the Tiffany and Company. You know, the little jewelries that come in the teal boxes. They're making the World Championship trophy for League of Legends. So more like League of Luxury, if you know what I mean. But yeah, definitely. I've never actually seen what the trophies for League of Legends Championships look like. But this one I bet will be all diamond encrusted. And only the best, as we know from Tiffany and Company. Closing out this week, we got another game that launched this week called Curse to Golf. We saw this, I think, I don't know if it was at the ID at Xbox event. I think it was the first time we saw it. We get to see a little bit of a game preview where you're a character and you're trying to work through golf puzzles. But there's a lot of different like traps and stuff to interact with. So Curse to Golf launched this week. It kind of gave me that. I mean, Golf Story was an RPG golf, but it kind of gave me that Golf Story vibe. It had the same kind of art style as Golf Story. So this one's a little bit more puzzle focused. But it did launch this week and might be something I pick up as soon as I get through Cult of the Lamb, which I am working my butt off to get through. My cult, I think, is at 10 members now, so I'm looking forward to building that. But I digress. Last but certainly not least this week was a pretty cool vampire game this week. I think I might be starting to think that 2022 is the year of the vampire, because there have been quite a lot of vampire video games this year. Although I wish we were getting Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Definitely a word salad there. Anyway, game that was announced this week was called Bloody Hell Hotel. You are in a first-person environment, running around a hotel, trying to fix it up and design it and make it look good. For these really Tim Burton art style-esque vampires. Yeah, they're very like squat, and they've got just a very like kind of claymation Tim Burton look to them. But if you didn't enjoy base building in with an isometric view in V Rising, you can run around a hotel and fix it up in first person in Bloody Hell Hotel. So I'm looking forward to that. But that's it for this week. If you feel I forgot anything, feel free to leave a comment down below. And as always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you do, please follow, like, and subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitch so you can see more great content like this. I'll have links down below in the description. Thanks again. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super weekend. And I hope you have a super day. Bye.